One, two, three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tom Carlson Show for Monday, July 13th. How the hell are you? I'm doing quite well. And, that's just what you say. Like I said on the last, you're doing fine. I'm doing great, right? But, personal accountability for your own circumstances goes a long ways in my mood, at least. If I actually fucking, all right, Thomas, you fucking didn't do anything yesterday. You fucking stared at a TV screen for 8 hours in the day. Oh, you feel a little blue at the end of the day. You felt a little blue this morning. Wake the hell up. Fucking clean your shit up and get back to work. It's weird. I don't even like the weekends anymore. Not that I have a weekend because I'm unemployed, but it's just like I like Monday through Friday. I like having, even with being unemployed, I still have. I got the show on Monday, so I do some prep for that Sunday night, which I love doing, and then I'm pretty gassed out by the end of Monday with YouTube bullshit, and then Tuesday I try and take it easy, which I can't really do anymore. And then Wednesday, prep for the Thursday show. Thursday to the show. Friday is okay. And then Saturday, Sunday, it's just like, what am I going to do? Of course, I have all the sightseeing in the world I can be doing here in New York, but it's hot. And it's still Corona time, even though I think for today, they just made an announcement that no more COVID deaths in the city for the first time. But, something else. If it's not one thing, it's the other, right? The violent crime here has gotten really fucking bad. I don't know if it's... I imagine it's probably because people have been cooped up inside, number one. That's where all these, So, there's nothing to talk about anymore. I'm not talking about fucking masks. I will, a little bit. But masks, race, I'm over. I'm done. A lot of these arguments, I was listening I think I saw it on TV. We've been having these for 40, 50, 60 years in some cases. And I'll vote, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna continue like I have, just fucking adding to the noise, so to say. There's so much noise going on right now that the dummies out there don't know what to listen to, so they just listen to what sounds similar to them. Like, God damn it, my fucking grandfather died in World War II. I'm standing up for that goddamn flag, and if you don't stand for the flag, you hate the troops. That's never changing. And, sadly, this whole defund the police thing that everyone, including my goddamn Mayor de Blasio, was so quick to jump on so people weren't yelling at him. It's getting fucking vicious out here in the city. Not quite as bad as Mitchie Slick over there in Chicago, but New York's more compact, so it's a little closer to everybody else, not just hanging out on the south side in Chi-Town. There's this guy I follow. He's been in New York, I think, his whole life, for the last 20 years. And he's just like... Because in the old days, even in the 90s, 80s, 70s, New York was fucking gangster. And it seems like it may be turning back that way. So, just real quick on the news, the first thing, New York, NYC gun violence. I didn't even put in violence, I just said gun violence. A 1-year-old boy shot to death out in stroller outside Brooklyn Playground. When does this stop? More police on patrol. NYPD presence increases in Harlem. Let's see if we can get a count for this weekend. It's unbelievable. I can't believe the numbers I was hearing. No, I didn't say anything. Spike, this is last week, and shooting leaves 74 shot or 64 shot, 10 dead. Terrible. So love, you know, understanding. How understanding do you think you'd be if you had a gun to your face, though? I'm kind of like, when I first saw this guy was like, it's over in New York. I'm getting the hell out of here. You know, a lot of people are saying that about cities they're in, big cities, because it is dangerous as fuck to live here if shit would go, all the way to the fan, if it did hit the fan. And, I did run a ton this week. I got in a 4-miler, which is the most I've done since I got on Strava. And then, which was only like a couple weeks ago. Run farther than that. And like I gotta be able to run like 26 miles to get out of here. So that's why I'm running. Fuck going to the gym for vanity purposes. I gotta be ready to get the hell out of here without a car. And the direction out of here, since I'm surrounded by water, I'm going straight through Harlem. May take a right at the Bronx. And my direction is just north, because I can handle the woods. Can't handle the city. I've only been here for like a little over half a year, I don't know how to fix things here in the city. I can fix things here out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, where is society headed? I don't know. I think at this point, I'm just going to kind of exist, help where I can, and just kind of enjoy my life, You're only here, you only have a certain amount of time on the planet. There's no reason to waste your energy and your efforts into something that is literally created for you to waste your time in, so you're not seeing bigger picture on things. So enjoy your time, do what you can here and there. Don't freak out, I'm guilty as anybody. But yeah, so tropical storm hit here, Tropical Storm Faye, and it was kind of like a Faye storm. It wasn't that, you think of a Faye for a person. I think I may have had a relative named Faye, and it's just like this kind of like weak, still pretty like good looking, like 80-year-old woman who's got like her hair is like cut nicely for an old person. Faye, okay? Doesn't wear glasses when she meets you at the funeral home for the, whatever that, what do you call it when you go to a funeral home? A wake? And people just go in there and look at the body. I did that once for my grandfather. It's weird as fuck. His, actually not twice. Grandfather and uncle. Grandfather, I was like, I don't know, must have been 10 years old. This is I don't know, I had 2 great grandfathers. This one, I had a beach house with. We were in on a beach house together, my grandfather and I. And he died, and so we're back in North Carolina, and we're at this funeral. This is like really the first funeral experience that I was at least coherent enough to like experience the emotions of, because I went to my grandmother's years before, but I was too young to grasp it. All I could remember was how fun it was to go there and play Galexian with an actual joystick connected to the computer. That was Nana. Rest in peace, Nana. This is Julius, also known as Granddad. Rest in peace, Granddad. Number 1. Guess he's number 1 because he died first. Okay. And like and I was like, I didn't know what to do. So like, people were leaving. The family stayed there as people come in and out for like an hour. And I was like, we're about to leave. And I was like, all right, give me 1 second here. And everyone left. Okay. And I'm like this 10, I was in 6th grade, whatever age you are at that age, or that grade. And I went over, and I can't remember which part of him I kissed. I don't think it was his lips, because that really creeps me out even now. But I think maybe it was his forehead, and it was kissing a dead guy. But I thought at the time it seemed like it was okay to do, and it probably is now, but that is such a weird, cold, dead person. And you're like, wow, his head is really hard. Tropical Storm Faye. Looked like a Faye that I saw at that funeral parlor, whatever. Not gonna mess with it, not gonna hurt you, and that's what the storm was, except she did something to the will, and what Faye did to the will was figure out a way to rip the fuck off something exhaust shaft, 2 of my exhaust fans, and my apartment was raining, like, with the waves of the roof water gushing in. And at first I was like, water is real tricky because you don't see it at first and you don't hear it because it's hitting drywall and it's not dripping yet. It hasn't built up enough to drip through the walls. And dude, I kid you not, I have about a 8-foot wall, top to bottom, floor to ceiling, separating my kitchen from my washing machine flex and bathroom area. And it rained 3 inches in New York. And I could hear the water just like it was as loud as it was outside going through this wall. And some of my floors warped. I know, and you know how maybe you don't, but like, this was on Friday afternoon, like at 5 o'clock. And as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh no. Because I know, like, was a contractor for, when did I start? Like, 10 years. And I know what water does to stuff. And so it's kind of coming in, and it doesn't seem too bad at first. I'm like, oh, there must just be a small leak somewhere in the roof, or it's coming through one of my exhaust fans. Because your exhaust fan, blowing air up, and it was really windy, and I was like, well, maybe it knocked over the cover, which it shouldn't be able to do. But most people, especially for residential contractors, they don't even put a fucking cover on it. That's how you get squirrels in your house, because they're lazy. And and so it's dripping down. Like, I'm starting to put, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to catch water in here. I've got like 1 towel. I have 3 bath towels, but I don't want to use those because it's gross. The water was coming down brown. And I started getting worried because I was like, oh god, these people can't even put on an exhaust cover. What's wrong? What's going on with the electrical in this place? And as soon as I said that, one of my outlets blew, and I was like, fuck. And fortunately, they do have a electrical cabinet here, and I was able to shut off power to every spot in the apartment. And flipping the breakers. And so just before I started this podcast, the goddamn electrician came, and he's like, oh, yeah. He replaced 1 outlet that I knew had blown. I'm like, there's no conduit in these walls, are there? Conduit is plastic piping that by code you need to have your electrical also. There shouldn't just have open wire, ever. And I swear to God, that's what's in these walls. It's terrifying, because I've seen a couple close calls on the electrical side in construction, and that shit is so scary. One time, this is about as bad as it gets. This was about, this was right after I'd gotten sober when I came back to work. I went down. You get back with the company, and they can't just like throw you into stuff. So I go. I was like, and I like going outside. So I was like, I'll do whatever you need. And there's this project over by my house where the developer needed to get a restaurant demolished. So I went in there. We already had the building, and the restaurant at the time wanted to save their lighting. They had these fancy, oh god, like fancy Italian lighting in there. And so I go in there. I see all the switches. I flip the breakers so there's no power in the store. I go up to the first light with my metal wire cutters. Fortunately, they had rubber handles. And fortunately, this was a commercial contractor who did it correctly. Had a grounding wire on there. But I clipped that first one and whoop-bam! Electrical explosion. There's a hole in my metal pliers. And I was standing about 4 feet maybe 5 feet in the air on a glass bar cutting this thing. Didn't knock me out or anything. Almost fell off. Jumped off. And I was like, what? And there was one fucking switch that one of the breakers was hidden. I don't know why. And it wasn't labeled. And this dumb me, I didn't have what you're supposed to have when you do this thing. So when you do in your house, this is how you don't electrocute yourself. They look like plastic pliers, but there's an electrical thing, or there's a digital reading on it, and you clip that over the exposed electrical wiring, and it'll tell if there's any current in it. If there is, you haven't flipped the right breaker. But I was like, I know what I'm doing. Classic Carlson man almost killing yourself move right there. Anyways, so my apartment is leaking. I'm trying to get that figured out. Are we going to let that bring us down mentally? No, we're not. I will tell you, though, when all that stuff was going on, I thought I might have a heart attack. That's just definitely going to be my killer. For sure, dude. I don't, with, I guess that's kind of a major, I don't know. I flipped the fuck out. Just because it was Friday, I couldn't get a hold of my management company. No kidding. Thank God I got a hold of my building super, but it took him a while to get here because, there's a storm. There's water going in buildings all over the place. And I was just like, no one really gives a shit, dude. Management, this is a landlord still ripping me off. Not ripping me off. I signed up for the lease. But what I'm going to try to do is, you tell me if this sounds reasonable. They need to fix some stuff in this apartment, obviously. Floorboards are this is nice wood flooring. And the floorboards are, bending now and curling. And there's, that much water going through wall and just absorbing into drywall. You shouldn't just, we're going to use some fans and dry it out. That's going to stink. That's going to attract, insects and shit. And we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to work some things out with it. I'll just go upstairs. There's an apartment upstairs that's fine. It's a little cheaper. It helped me out in furlough. It's not quite as nice as mine. But I was like, I'll just go up there. I'll move. You guys can take over my apartment once I leave for my trip back home. Take care of everything. And it's just I can't get anywhere with that. What's wrong with that? Just how can we get a little more money out of this guy? We'll trap him in his water-damaged apartment and not let him leave. And then make some excuse for why I'm being charged for it when I leave. Anyways, Tropical Storm Faye. I already talked about it's getting more violent. And, have you guys seen, this is one of the most embarrassing TV shows I've seen in a long time. I watched it briefly yesterday. It's called Tough as Nails. Let's see what it's on. Tough as nails. I thought I saw it on CBS. There it is. So embarrassing. Because the hard thing is when you have these guys, like the electrician just came over and he's all jokey and laughy, which I like. But it's like, dude, don't spin me this bullshit. I've been doing this for 10 years. I know how shit fucking works with materials, you know? And it's just like, yeah, you know, it'll all be good, you know. And there's like parts of I have crown molding, okay? I didn't pick this apartment because I had crown molding. It just happened to have crown molding, okay? On the floor and on the ceiling. And there was one section over by where this wall area was all coming through. I mean, it's popped off like at least 3/4 of an inch. And it's just like, I took photos of it and all, and we'll see what they say. I don't know. I told her today I wanted to move. I can move. That sounds perfect to me. I'll move. I like moving. It keeps you lean, both physically and with your stuff. And so here's the suggestion. You got those pile of t-shirts that you never fucking wear anymore. You only keep them because it reminds you of like this time you went to this place and you had a fun time with your friends, so you bought a shirt. If you have any of those old shirts, those you can still remember those. You probably have a photo on Instagram. What I do, because I have like, I don't know, 8 shirts I like to wear, but I have about 70, or had. And so I'm trying to save money and stuff, so a t-shirt is a great rag. I've been cutting up my old t-shirts. I put them down, I fit on my Swiffer, just mopping the floor with my t-shirt that I probably got with my granddad, whose wake I went to. But it's just like, I'm never gonna wear that again. I'm not just gonna keep stuff to keep stuff, you know. I don't do that with cards. I don't think I have any. I used to keep that shit, and then once I got sober, it's just like, I don't need a card to remember something. I'm fucking sober. So I got, you know, and it allows you to move on a little more. I don't know. And like I have said, I'll be going home pretty soon, and I'll have my guitar and keyboard there. So I will be creating intro, break, and outro music. If you would like, did you guys hear that? That was my floor cracking jokes. If you want to be part of the show's intro, break, or outro music, send your audio submissions to the show's email address or my DM the show's Instagram. However, if it's a bigger file or whatever, email works better. The address is thetomcarlsonshow@gmail.com, and same thing for Instagram. So if you want to do the ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Carlson Show, or Tom Carlson Show is really stupid and you should never listen to it, send those to whatever one you want. Or my Twitter, which you guys need to follow. It's 208 Tom Carlson. The best album or new music I've heard in quite a while, Sam out in California, you'll like this. Starfucker. They came back with a fucking great album. I did not like their last one. They got too drugged out. That's what it was. But the new Starfucker album is so good. And where is it? Oh man, dude, these guys are the shit. They're going to Anchorage to do a show because it's like probably pretty. Oh wow, they did a whole thing out in Anchorage. I don't know. Go for STRFKR. They're the closest thing I'd say to MGMT that I've ever heard. Although it's more rock and rolly than MGMT, but it still has the same like acid vibes to it. So it's very good. Speaking of acid vibes, and like where society is going. I remember one of the books that made, I don't know, an impact. No, it didn't make an impact. I just remembered. And I was like, this is a good book. Well, like the only one ever. In God, I can't remember when I read this. I think it was high school. This was the first time I kind of understood what like meditation and being present was Henry David Thoreau's Walden's Pond. David Thoreau. And like, let's see, 8 years ago, before I had diabetes, I would have been like building a cabin in, I don't know if Alaska, if I could do Alaska because of how cold it is, somewhere in Idaho or Montana, and just camp out there for a while, like 7 years or something like that, and I don't know why we're talking about Henry David Thoreau. What did I have on here to talk to him? I don't know. I just have on my notes Henry David Thoreau, Walden's Pond. I don't know. It's impossible. I'm out of. There's nothing to talk about. I'm trying. The best. The two. Jim Rome can do it. I don't think the only other sports show that I've seen be able to hold for this entire time without sports is Tiki and Tierney. It's also on CBS. I could not believe I've watched it. I tape it now. I always tape Jim Rome show. I mean, that guy, for him, he used to do the amount of time he used to do live. He used to do about, I think he had a 5-hour show 5 days a week, and then a 3 or 4 hour show on like Saturday night. So he was doing shows every single day for 3 to 4 hours. And it's just like Cowherd and those guys can't do it. Very few people, but Tiki and Tierney, Tiki Barber, and I forget Tierney's real name, or Tierney's first name, is they're really good too. And they can talk about, they don't need live sports to hold. And like, what do we got going on in sports right now? We got NBA. It's like, when is the NBA starting? Let's see. For those of you not as in the know, NBA start date. You can't even give me that? Okay. The NBA season is set to resume on July 30th. Okay, so 2 more weeks. MLB restart date. Who's getting it first? Baseball's, come on. Oh, okay. Meaningful games July 23rd. It's an interesting way they said that in baseball compared to NBA's game start July 30th. Baseball. And begin playing meaningful games on July 23rd. And then, sadly, this is killing me to say this. I think there's not going to be a champion. Can there really be a champion for college football? I doubt they're even going to have a season now, because we're all the states where there's good football teams. Everybody's being a moron. Florida, California, Arizona, South Carolina, Alabama. I'm sure. I don't know what Alabama's doing. I haven't actually heard them. I know South Carolina's doing bad. North Carolina is too. Fortunately, North Carolina's got such a mega help system. But I really thought this was going to be the year that we won it again. That we being the Clemson Tigers. I feel terrible for Travis Etienne, who came back for his senior season. Decided not to go pro. He would have been like the top 3 running backs picked. Maybe it'll work out for him in his favor. I mean, I know he got an insurance plan, but that's not real money. That's not fucking... Running backs got to get paid as soon as they can. Trevor Lawrence will be fine. he'll go number one. But it's like he only got 2 years to play college when he really likes playing college. His leadership was a lot slower to develop, I think, than Deshaun Watson's. Deshaun Watson came in game one. I remember it, dude. Let's see. When was this? It was against UGA in Athens. UGA, Clemson, Deshaun Watson first. Where is it? Oh, yeah, baby. Here you go. Hope you guys can hear this. ACC Digital Network. Deshaun. Oh, baby! Oh, God, that's so good, dude. God, man, I miss that dude. Damn, he is so skinny. Perfect throw, double coverage. Damn. So he came in game one ready to go. Trevor didn't, but it's just kind of like his own personality is a little slower to get. I think he'll be fine once he goes to the NFL because he's figured it out now. But I think he really earned his stripes in that Ohio State game last year where he was just getting the shit kicked out of him by that maniac predator who's now on Ohio State, whatever that dude's name is. Or not on Ohio State, now on the no longer Washington, D.C. Redskins. They have officially changed. I mean, that's the funny thing about that is Dan Schneider. There's a bug, sorry. Dan Schneider probably doesn't want to change names, but he's tired of losing money. And 40% of the, I think there's 3 other minority, those 3 have decided they want out. So he's like, oh boy, I got to make some money. Change the logo. What do you think they're going to do? The Washington, please don't do it like the Washington Capitals and the Washington Nationals. Please don't do that. The last thing we need is another Washington team referencing the political establishment. Let's do the Washington Anarchists. Or the Washington Snakes. Yeah, I like that. The Washington Snakes. That's perfect. That's perfect. Washington Snakes. People are afraid of snakes for sports. Washington Snakes. Politicians are snakes. Get it going. Ah, God, dude. That would be so... They could... Oh, Washington Snakes. That's it. Game over. Yeah, so Colin Morikawa won last night, or yesterday in golf. I will say the players in the top of that group were quite fucking boring. Stop hitting your fucking 3-iron and playing it safe. It's not a major. Fucking go for it, dude. That's the difference between... Well, that's old school. There's new school golf, too. Because a lot of people... Well, that's why he's number one in the FedEx Cup. Yeah, but the game is going to pass him by if he doesn't start... It won't. It won't, but it won't be as dominant as he was. Because Justin Thomas is better at playing small ball than anybody. So everyone else for a long time has been playing small ball. The only person that wasn't around was when Tiger got going way back in the day. But Tiger was still really the only one pushing the limits of like the physical side of golf. And now that Bryson has kind of recharged it, people are going for greens when it's like 400-yard holes, depending on the wind, downhill and stuff. And if they get it down, if they're consistent enough with that driver, they're gonna win a lot more than the small ball guys. And the golf course people aren't gonna know what to do, because if they make it any longer, that makes it even worse for the small ball hitters like JT. Even though when I say small ball, JT's still hitting it like 330. I think he hit one 360. But like that's like just to walk in. That's like the first hole for Bryson, and that's the first hole for like Brooks Koepka or Rory or DJ. DJ can maybe not. Yeah, Rory, DJ, those guys, they can pull that off pretty easily. But that's like his best hit. And so what I don't know if I want to see it because I like seeing these, scores in the 20s because it's more fun to watch birdies than it is to watch someone struggle for par. Except when it's the U.S. Open, but yeah, that's it. So we got to change the Redskins to the Washington Snakes. Hashtag Washington Snakes. God, that's perfect. And send me any audio you want for my review and submission to the show's new music that I'll be working on the next couple weeks. All right, everybody. I'll check in on you somewhere in the vast Idaho wilderness on Thursday. Have a great Monday. Have a great next few days at work. See you later.